of Sean Maloney, who made such a difference to Celtic in that first half. Things going so badly wrong for them until Maloney's involvement in getting the penalty kick and then scoring it. So these Celtic fans now hopeful again that they can continue an excellent run in the league. Derek Riordan scored a sensational free kick, no question about that. Boric may be criticised for positional play, but it was still beautifully struck by Riordan, who has a very good touch on the ball in these situations. Yeah, great feet, left and right feet, a bit like Sean Maloney. Two great individuals that can create from nothing. It's always good to have in your side when you're struggling. They come out with some piece of magic like that and get everybody on the edge of the seats. Look, Ivan Sproul had been such an impression in the opening 20 minutes of the match as Hibs get us away for the second half. Interesting to see what changes may have been made by Tony Mowbray in terms of tactics, because there's no personnel change on either side for the second half. Hibs trying to get off that quick start which they enjoyed in the first half. There's Whittaker well forward, and that's too close to Artur Boric. Tony Mowbray fast gaining an outstanding reputation for his handling of his team, and he will have made some alterations, I suspect, in terms of the tactics. They had that edge in the opening spell of the game and then lost it from the penalty kick on. There's Telfer with a pass. The interception made well by Gary Smith. Balde careful there with the clearance. Good contest between Balde and McManus against Killen. 1 against 2, but Killen's really occupied them well. There goes Sproul at pace again. That's a very well-timed tackle by McManus, and it had to be. That's great play again from McManus. We've seen him 2 or 3 times in the first half. Wilson, obviously lacking on the pace of Sproul, and just reading that situation, covering his fullback. The task for the left centre-back always to give protection to the fullback, especially against a flying machine like Sproul. Here's Thompson. Lovely first touch with the left foot. Here's Sproul again, trying to get beyond Wilson. Good tackle this time by the Celtic fullback. Hibs of the corner though. He started the second half like he started the first. A little bit quiet after the Celtic goal, but he's back at the races now. So the zonal marking of the Celtic defenders for the corner. And that allowed the opportunity there for Gary Caldwell to get on the end of that. Disappointed with himself, not getting a header down. And Gordon Strachan not at all happy with certain aspects of the defending. Yeah, Gary Caldwell there got a good leap. Annoyed with himself there that he didn't do better. Trying to redirect that back across the face of the goal. Well, quite clearly Gary Caldwell thinking only about the Hibs cause this afternoon. No thought at all for his future employers. With Telfer. Headed by Gary Smith. Then he goes again. He's such a stalwart in defence, Gary Smith, over many years, starting out at Falkirk and then going to Rennes in France, back to play for Aberdeen very effectively before joining Hibs. Simon Brown started out his career as a youth at Tottenham Hotspur, didn't get a first team match. Moved to Colchester United, where he was identified by Tony Mowbray. In fact, even earlier than Tony Mowbray, I think. Tony inherited him, I think. Good charging run again by Stephen Whittaker. Great athlete, Whittaker. Now Sproul in that very tight corner. Maloney's been given the task of giving Wilson extra support in there. There's Balde with a clearing header. Head flick on from Petrov, who started much further forward in the Celtic ranks in the first half, but then became more effective. What a great little back heeler there for Sproul again. Needs good delivery, couldn't get that beyond McManus. Here's Petrov in a wrestling match with Stewart, which he wins. He invited that foul, Petrov. Very clever play by the Bulgarian. Going across the bows of Stewart, inviting the tackle, which inevitably came in. Yeah, it's good play there from Petrov. Nobody stronger on the ball. Fletcher niggle, and then just cut back across him. Got himself a simple free kick. Seen him time and time again use his frame to defend the ball. So clumsy touch there in midfield. Stewart giving possession back to Celtic. Here's Mark Wilson. Good closing down work again by Hibs. That was a feature of the play in the first half hour. This is Nakamura, though, been allowed to turn this time. Support comes from Telfer on the right. Lennon, the supporting player in midfield. This is Telfer. Zurawski comes short. Hasn't had much involvement in the play, Zurawski, the way the game has unfolded. Doesn't have that powerful presence of Hartson beside him. There's Zurawski again. Held up by Gary Smith. And then a crunching tackle from Riordan. Well, these young Hibs players really do commit themselves to the cause in all respects. Not allowed to be the glamour boys anyway. They've got to do the hard chores as well. Here's Zurawski. Back it comes to Lennon. That's asking a lot of Keane.
I think you'll find that's a little bit of the manager rubbing off on the younger players. Always 100% to Tony Mowbray. Expects nothing less from his players.
Here's Nakamura making for the byline. Couldn't quite get the cross in. Well, Nakamura's reintroduction to the starting lineup has had a mixed impact, I think, for Celtic.
Yeah, he's a tidy player. I mean, he does most things pretty well. And he's not got that devastating pace that gets him past people, but he's got tidy feet. More often than not, finds a Celtic shirt when he's on the ball. He can play his position pretty well as well.
Well, Keane simply wasn't allowed to turn there by Whittaker. And a solid tackle, no respecter of reputation, clearly. Another heavy tackle there, this time by Sproul. The throw goes to Hibs. Very evenly poised match at this stage. It may take a little bit of inspiration from someone just to change things. Both sides have players who can do that in the ranks. It's a very good tackle by Lennon and Murphy. And a good recovery by the Hibs fullback, but still Celtic have possession with Zurawski. And the golden boots. Telfer did well, resisting that challenge from Riordan. Balde put under pressure there. Referee, the lingering eye on that late challenge coming in on Balde from Killen. It's now with Maloney. Good check inside. The angled pass intended to pick out the run made by Zurawski, but he checked out to stay onside. That made it easy for Simon Brown. A little bit of strapping there on the Maloney knee. That's perhaps a cause for some concern. He's had these long periods out through injury, cruciate injury. It's kept him out for a year virtually.
It's like a wee little graze. He's got a wee little stud mark on his side of his knee. A wee plaster on it.
Free kick to Hibs. Swung there wide by Stewart to Sproul. He couldn't control that first time. Not the best of passes. Acknowledged nevertheless by Sproul. Well, Ivenswell almost on his way out of Easter Road for about £10,000 back to Ireland at the start of the season. What a difference he's made, not only to the side but to the crowd, because they really do come to life when he is in full cry. This is Nakamura though, going in behind Murphy. Good play by Nakamura for Celtic. And the deflection carries the ball to safety in the form of Stephen Whittaker. Well, that's unusual. Very few options available. Normally there's movement all over the place from Hibs players. But credit now due to Celtic, the way they've come to grips with the game in the middle of the field.
Yeah, for the first 25 minutes they were completely outnumbered in that midfield area. Hibs picking up all the second ball and forcing Celtic back onto the back foot all the time. And now they've got numbers in there and they're matched up. And it's a lot more competitive.
Wonderful pass from Stewart, picking out David Murphy. Whipping in the cross with that very good left foot. Keane with the pass for Petrov. Caldwell making a good interception. Still a bit of cat and mouse about the game. Here's Riordan. Hasn't been involved as much as Hibs would want, I suspect. His involvement usually is telling when he's get a bit of time and possession. Here's Gary Caldwell. Killen going up for that. And the offside flag was up on the far side against Chris Killen. So a free kick will be given to Celtic. Well, Killen asking the question there. This is very tight indeed.
Yeah, very, very tight again. Is that half a yard again? We have the benefit of the doubt for the official on the far side there. That's 3 or 4 times it's been half a yard. Is he going to get away with one this afternoon, I wonder?
Hasn't had quite the same involvement to Killen as he had in the early stages of the match. Celtic have come to grips with them much better, and perhaps the supply hasn't been as good.
Yeah, a little bit of fatigue coming in as well, because he put in a fair shift in the first half. Tony Mowbray might think about freshening that position up.
Gary Smith's clearing header. Here's Riordan, needs to hurry. Caught there by Nakamura. No, caught twice in fact. No doubt that was accidental, but caught on the back of the head. So banging the head for Riordan. He had to hurry. He was dwelling in the ball as Nakamura closed him down. That's the sorer one. The second one, the accidental one. So free kick to Hibs. So remember, coming up later on Spotlight Europe, Hamburg against Kaiserslautern. That's 4:20 on Setanta Sports 1. David Murphy now for Hibs, former Middlesbrough player. Awkward there for Wilson. He was almost cut out badly by Ivan Sproul. There's a corner kick given to Hibs. Wilson certainly caught out badly here.
So very, very lucky there, Mark Wilson. Very lucky not to give a penalty as well. You just see him as he was falling away there, his hands were up, pleading innocence.
Credit to Ivan Sproul. Had he gone down, he may well have had a penalty. This is for Riordan. It was played with just a little bit too much pace, I think, to him by Glass. A misunderstanding between Whittaker and Glass. Celtic taking advantage. Celtic at the throw. Well, interesting this, the way Ivan Sproul was contacted here by Wilson.
Yeah.
Should he have gone down?
Well, I've seen players going down for less, should we say.
Well, I'll give him credit.
Honesty prevailed, I think, in that young man. You could see Mark Wilson's expression as he's falling backwards and both his hands come up.
He was concerned, all right. Baldy launches it forward. That's the John Hartson ball, which is not appropriate this afternoon in his absence.
That's a great ball. It just shows you what a great ball it is for a centre half, though. You know,
oh yeah,
a non-footballing centre half. If there's nothing on, you just hump it up. Yeah, hump it up the middle of the park, and your centre forward will get hold of it.
Did you play with centre backs like that?
I'm not going to name them anyway.
Hibs of the throw. They're back in this match, though. They were second fiddle for the last 10 minutes of that first half, but it's much more even again. Enthralling match. Hibs still with a real chance of challenging for that second place anyway. Stewart's pass. Here's Killen. Back it comes to Thompson. That was a very good pass of Thompson, trying to thread one through the eye of a needle there. He couldn't quite manage that.
You can see what Celtic are doing there. They've got numbers back in that middle area now. It's very compact. And they're doing what Hibs tried to do to Celtic in the first half. You know, deny them space, force the ball down the sides, and there's not a lot of space to be said for both sides through the middle of the park now. A lot of the play is being forced into the wider areas.
Just occurred to me as Neil Lennon strolled about, I don't think many players, especially midfielders, walk about the pitch as much as he does. The way he possesses himself, he can get away with that. Here's Żurawski. Back it comes now to Nakamura. It had to be played there by Whittaker. Couldn't take a chance. Helped it on its way for the corner.
That's a great ball in from Nakamura, right into a real danger area. That's a super piece of defending there.
It was Roy Keane coming in round the back there. Will he take the corner or leave it to Nakamura? There's the decision. Nakamura will take this. One post protected. Interesting that, Hibs. Nakamura with the outswing, a disappointing ball, but flicked on to good effect and turned in by McManus. Celtic have the lead. Not the best of corners, but it certainly has turned out well for Celtic. McManus gets his 7th goal of the season.
That's that free scoring centre half. The man with the new contract. Poor corner, missed by everybody at the near post, but not missed by that man there. That's the sound of finishes you'll see from any player on the park. A little side foot between the fullback and the goalkeeper. It's a super finish there.
Perhaps a little touch on by Zurawski.
Yeah, not much in there, but through a number of people, and then just fall into that man there for his 7th goal of the season.
Well, it's a terrific return for a centre-back. Certainly one who doesn't take free kicks or penalties. Well, a major blow to Hibs, no doubt about that. On the hour mark, Celtic go ahead. It would have been hard to imagine that in the opening half hour of the game when Hibs are so dominant. But that's the challenge playing against the Old Firm. Chase on here for Zurawski. Well, that's handball outside the area. Simon Brown's in big trouble. Looks towards the referee, and inevitably the card is red. It's all collapsing around Hibs now. For Tony Mowbray, a goal behind, now a player down, and he has to decide who has to come off.
We've been very complimentary against Hibs all afternoon, but that is suicidal defending. That's just a ball over the top. That man is ever going to be eager, and there's no alternative there. Brown, hands come up. He knows soon as he's touched that, he doesn't even have to look at the referee. He's off.
Well, I'm not sure I like the rule very much, but it is the rule. Well, everyone knows that. And Malkowski will come on. Who is being sacrificed?
Who's going to pay the price? Yeah.
The decision to be taken here by Tony Mowbray. And there's the answer. It's Derek Riordan who goes off. Hasn't been making a considerable impact on the play. Still scored that wonderful free kick, which he can always do.
But that's what he's capable of. He's you know, conjuring something out of nothing. Pretty quiet game. Lukowski coming on. Hibs down to 10 men, but it just shows you Celtic, how many chances have they had during this game? 2-3 chances. They've scored 2 goals from it. And that's what happens when you're playing against the best teams. They do punish you. 1-2 chances. They'll be taking 75% of those chances.
And there may be more punishment to come for Hibs from the set piece, where the goalkeepers cannot be warmed up. Siggy Malkowski, who has played 25 times this season for Hibs, more often than Simon Brown. He was a first choice for that spell. Is it Maloney or Nakamura or Petrov to take this? They're all very talented for this position. Maloney would seem to be the most likely. It is. Oh, that's good goalkeeping. Very good first contribution by Malkowski. He was on target all right.
Yeah, that do his confidence the world of good. I always say it was a nice easy height for him to make his first save.
Now Nakamura coming forward again, trying to test Malkowski once more. Well, it's all gone sour now for Hibs.
Yeah, it has. In the course of 5 minutes. It's going to be a big ask now for this Hibs teams to come back into this, to try and create something, and try and take anything from this game.
Well, a depleted number of Celtic supporters making a bit of noise now, enjoying this to the full, and they certainly didn't enjoy that opening half hour, I'm sure about that. So let's see what kind of resilience Hibs can demonstrate here. Can they come back? 10 men, remember. Attempted flick on there was by Stephen Glass, didn't quite get onto that. That's Petrov on the turn. Zurawski collects. Maloney getting away from the challenge from Thompson. Good play by Smith. Well, Celtic can now make that extra man tell. They're very adept at that. So Ivan Sproul having to parade it right across the front now, along with Chris Killen. They've gone, I think, to change system. Yeah. Is it 4-3-2? They have to keep some attacking threat up there.
I think they're looking for Sproul to play through the middle more now, to exploit his pace.
Space on the far side for Wilson. We're happy to see the back of Sproul, I'm sure of that. Now Maloney. Hustled out of that by Stewart. Back it goes to Keane. Well, Hibs will need to be very fit indeed too to cope here, because they're going to have to do a lot of chasing. Celtic will make the extra man pay, I'm sure of that. There's Telfer's pass, but Petrov was caught on his heels. Helped on there by Glass to Killen. Sproul couldn't get on the end of that. Well, had Hibs been one apiece, Mark, you think they might well have gone a 4-4-1 just to try and
just play the lone striker. Yeah, they played the lone striker. I think you might even go that way now. You could do that way, I suppose. Play with the one striker. Make sure that you still keep denying that space for the Celtic midfield, in that midfield area. Especially with the pace of Sproul you've got up front.
Well, Stephen Fletcher's going to come on. He's a very good young striker. Paul Dalglish is also available to Tony Mowbray, who wants to get some real energy into the side in the late stages. I think that might well be happening before very long, but Fletcher will be on very shortly, getting his instructions, the 18-year-old.
Yeah, I think an injection of energy is what is required for Hibs. Celtic quite content to make the passes.
Careless one there, given away by Caldwell, straight to Telfer. This is Zurawski. Rich vein of scoring form, Zurawski. 6 in the last 3. Scored 11 goals in 9 matches in 2006, Zurawski. This is Lennon, stepping away from Sproul. 2 Irishmen together. Celtic player wins that joust. Here's Maloney, good play. Stepping inside. Shooting chance on. Now it's Sproul on his own with Killen ahead. That's for Sproul again. He's onside this time. Post wide though. It needs support to join him. Couldn't get that across the face of goal. And Balde just blocks him off there. It's surely a foul. It is indeed a free kick. Why in the world would Balde do that?
Didn't need to do that, did he? He was favourite for the ball. Sproul had to run round him. Just out-muscled there.
Yeah, real catch-weight contest here. Stephen Fletcher.
Mismatch.
Very keen to get on. Bernard Shrewsbury came to Scotland at the age of 10. His 50th league appearance this will be at the age of 18. They're a very high promise. Still not able to get on though. Man coming off appears to be Stephen Glass. Well, that's interesting because that's a striker going on and a midfield player coming off. I wonder if Fletcher maybe asked to play on his own up there, or is he going to join Killen and Sproul? Tries to get into the head though of Balde. Good clearance. There's Stewart returning it. Thompson trying to take that in his chest away from Maloney. Has to settle for the throw. A real test of the character of Hibs this is. Here's Fletcher. First involvement in the play. Oh, he's done well to get away there from Telfer. That's fine play. And only the cross. Too close to the keeper, but wonderful play by Fletcher.
Good piece of skill from the young man there. His first piece of work he's done in the game. A nice bit of skill.
Operating away to the left-hand side of an attack. There's the man of the match competition reminder. Mark Cater will name him towards the end of the match. These are the numbers to call, the text address to use. you want to enter and perhaps win the signed shirt from that man of the match. Difficult contest now. Ivan Sproul is a hot favourite if you judge that after 20 minutes, I think, Mark, but a few more candidates have emerged. One of them is Sean Maloney, I think. This is Nakamura. Oh, that's good play. Wow, Gary Smith very angry with Nakamura for the way in which he went down there. Very dramatically. Referee feels not impressed, but not angry enough to take out a yellow card for this.
Well, you can see no contact there. The player trailing that leg here. You don't like to see it, but it happens.
Back with Telfer.
The reaction you get from the supporters.
Trying to make the extra man count here. This is Maloney. Oh, he's away there, and down he goes. And the decision has got to be, I suspect, another penalty. Can only be that. It was a foul, no question. Alan Feely not making a great fuss about it, but Stephen Whittaker again taken out by the skill of Maloney.
The step over, the customary step over. That's a blatant penalty for me. Nowhere near the ball, and there you go.
Oh, Whittaker knew that. Watch his reaction.
Yeah, he knows that's a penalty.
No argument for the young man.
I think he's still relieved to be on the pitch. 2 penalties he's given away. Normally you get booked for a penalty.
Well, he's been yellow carded the first time, but not this time. Not this time. A red card the first time, as the boys were saying at half time. You see only going for penalty number 5.
Yeah, but you see it time and time and time again. When that man gets on the ball, he's going to drive at you, and he's going to do the step over, and he's going to use his pace.
Markowski on the line. Oh, that's a terrific save by Markowski. It keeps Hibs in the game. There will be no way back from a 3-1 deficit, I'm sure, but now there's a chance.
It's a fantastic save. It's a really, really good save. Guessed the right way. Maloney struck it well.
His first miss in 5 for Maloney. Here's Nakamura with a corner. Gary Caldwell heads that out. Well, could this turn out to be a key moment in the match? The save from Markowski. Lennon taken out there by Sproul. Well, the 2 men from Northern Ireland shake hands and make little of this. Determination there, let's be kind and say that for Sproul. And here is Paul Dalglish. We suspected that would happen. Running power of Dalglish would be very useful to Hibs now. They're down to 10.
He's starting to hot up now, Jock. The tackle's flying around.
Here's Telfer. Baldy being invited by McManus to play it all the way back to Boric. Celtic be allowed to do this across the back 4 as much as they like. Careless pass from Lennon. That's Murphy. Now Stewart. Huge onus now, and Stewart and Thompson in the heart of the midfield for Hibs if they're going to keep any supply to the front men. Sproul's back on the right, Fletcher on the left, Killen through the middle. They're really playing a 4-2-3. And I wonder if Chris Killen might be the man to be replaced by Dalglish.
Yeah, the Hibs need to get something more as an offensive force at the moment. They're just getting passed off the park, they're chasing shadows, they're getting caught in reckless situations. They're giving the penalty away, they're lunging in.
Well, that's a lunge in there by Caldwell, penalised. The tackle on Petrov. He was angry about it, Caldwell, but it looked to be a free kick, all right. Maloney playing that forward. Here's Petrov. This could tie it up. And once again, Markowski comes to the rescue of Hibs.
That's another good, important save. That is from Markowski. Super play again from Celtic. Intricate stuff. Little passes, short passes. Maloney, Nakamura, Petrov. And that man kept his eye well and truly on that ball. Introduction of...
Well, it's a very familiar looking face, isn't it?
Yeah.
On comes Paul Dalglish to replace Killen. Will he play through the centre, or will Fletcher play through the centre? Well, the last throw of the dice from Tony Mowbray. Can't make any more changes. Across it comes here from McManus to Balde. Bad error there. Here's Dalglish testing the pace of Telfer, but Balde recovers well. Make up for his own slip-up. Another slip-up by Balde, giving possession to Thompson. Misunderstanding though with Dalglish. The tackle was made there strongly by Stewart, enabling Murphy to win that from Keane. Hibs still in here battling. No question of them throwing in the towel. And they've been given that important lift by Siggy Malkowski, the goalkeeper, with a penalty save and the other save from Petrov. But here comes McManus.
This is where they've got to be careful when they're committing players forward.
It's Zurawski. Fine effort by Zurawski. Surprised that Hibs allowed him to come inside on his right foot.
Yeah, poor defending there, but that's what Hibs have got to be very, very careful of. They know they've got to get back into this game. They've got to get the goal, commit players forward. The Celtic have got players that will punish you if spaces are left there. It's a terrific strike. Yeah, allowed to come onto his right foot, and that's inches past the post.
Yeah, should have been forced out wide on the left, I think. And defenders. Here's Murphy. Now running into Telfer. It is a free kick. Nothing sinister about it, I don't think. Telfer complaining to the referee.
Yeah, Murphy knew what he was doing there. He was just taking that ball for a little one. Just knock it past Telfer. Run into the back of Telfer, get yourself a free kick in a dangerous area. Get players up the park.
And no Derek Riordan. Had to be sacrificed to allow Malkowski on. And Simon Brown was sent off. So Kevin Thompson's over this. I don't think he'll be attempting one and goal. It'll be flighted in. It's a good ball in. Maldi wins it. Scrambled away by the Celtic defence. Not entirely convincing, but this is Maloney leading the counter-attack. Closed off well by Smith. Here's Murphy. Good turn by Dalglish. Nothing happening on the right-hand side of the pitch for Hibs. He had to check back. Here's Stewart. Now Thompson. Great left foot. Here's Fletcher trying to get the better of Wilson. The Hibs supporters thought that was a foul by Wilson. Alan Phelan gives the decision. Hibs away. But look at this. Was there an infringement here? Well, holding the arm.
You could see arms, yeah. Wilson had Fletcher's arm, but I think it would have been a soft one.
Now Kevin Thompson again. Orchestrating things in midfield. Stewart working very hard indeed. That's an excellent pass. Here's Murphy. Balde cuts across to intercept. Give great credit now to Hibs. They really have picked themselves up again after these two dreadful moments when they lost the penalty kick and their goalkeeper. Well, they lost a goal in the goalkeeper. Back it comes here to Michael Stewart. The flick on's good. Chance here for Hibs. Very close indeed. Fletcher on the far post on Whittaker's cross shot.
Yeah, Whittaker trying to make up for the previous couple of mistakes with the penalties. A cross shot. And Fletcher inches away. Could he have been in an offside position?
That would have been a debate, I think, had he turned that in.
It doesn't really matter. The last 5 minutes, Hibs getting themselves back in this job.
Oh, that's great play by Hibs in the circumstances. A man down, remember, 10 Hibs players. Offside, I think it would have been had he done any damage, but the flag was not raised. Here's Nakamura. Now these two crucial minutes, the one where McManus scored the leading goal for Celtic, and then Simon Brown got himself ordered off. All within 2 minutes. Hibs were reeling at that stage, but they really have made a remarkable recovery in terms of the confidence and belief. Good ball through, there's no offside there, but it's too far ahead of Fletcher.
That's what they're looking for. And then a little bit more pace to be added to the Celtic side.
A bit more energy here. Stephen Pearson coming on for Celtic. Nakamura, the man to come off. So a real running power and energy there from Pearson. Hasn't had too much of a look in this season. Only one start, 11 substitute appearances this season. Stewart to Dalglish. Careful pass, finds Caldwell. Now Whittaker. Real athlete. Doesn't seem to know anything about fatigue. He's held up by Maloney, but he just shrugs him off. The angled pass. A little bit ambitious, looking for Sproul. But just so confident in Sproul's pace to play balls into that position. Yeah, perhaps too often.
Yeah, telegraph pass. Whittaker, I think he just got his head up and trying to float that one into the far side. There were bodies there. A lot of Celtic players have got drawn towards Sproul, as they have all afternoon.
Off goes Nakamura. On comes Pearson for his 50th appearance for Celtic after his £350,000 move from Motherwell. Only his 12th appearance of the season though in the first team. He's only started one match. And yet suitors of Pearson were discouraged in the January window. A player like Gordon Strachan thinks he has a significant role to offer. Here's Petrov. Offside against Zurawski. 10 minutes of the match remaining. Hibs still looking to get back on terms despite being reduced to 10. The missed penalty kick has given them a bit of a launch pad actually. They really have kicked in since that penalty was missed.
It is, I think, a lifeline. If that had gone in, I think the game would have been dead and buried. But renewed optimism was given with that great penalty save, it must be said.
Balde's challenge there on Michael Stewart. Well, I've got to say it makes me consider one theory. I always think that you should change a penalty taker after they scored one, put another one in. Because Maloney did change his mind, didn't he, about the angle to go for. His first one was drilled high past the goalkeeper's right, and the next one to the left.
If you can take penalties like the first one, you might as well put the second one there as well.
Well, that's what I wonder, yeah. There's a foul by Caldwell on Keane.
Yeah. A future Celtic player coming together.
Why not?
It just shows his commitment. Yeah. 100% committed to the cause, that man there.
Lennon now short to Telfer. No way for Petrov to go there. Showing a bit of frustration. Thinks he should have had the decision. Kevin Thompson there trying to calm him down. Well, it takes a lot to get him riled, Petrov, but you can see here, not happy with that challenge by Dalglish.
I think it was the first incident. I think it was a foul.
Headed away by Balde. Here's Thompson again, spraying the passes around from that midfield area. Here's David Murphy with a cross. Turned away by Wilson. Caldwell a bit ambitious there. Closed down well by Pearson. Going for a long-range dipping volley, Gary Caldwell. He's a good striker of the ball. It's kept in. Almost dangerous up for the defender to try to escort the ball behind like McManus did there. Balde made the clearance. Still Hibs pressing forward.
Not giving up on any ball at the moment. Chasing everything down. I think Tony Mayer will be delighted with the effort his players have put in.
Well, if they can keep the bulk of this side together, you wonder just how far they can go, Hibs, especially if they're able just to make another little bit of investment, having had that big transfer fee from Lokomotiv Moscow for Gary O'Connor.
I think that's the problem you have if you're a Hibs supporter. You're building a side, some great young players, a super young manager as well. Not even managers are safe now.
That's good play by Maloney. Wilson breaks on the left-hand side. He has had so few chances to do this in the match so far. This is good play by Wilson. Well, the cutback was designed for Petrov, but not enough pace in the ball. Forward it goes there to Sproul. Gary Caldwell. Here's Maloney again. That's good running by Maloney. Held up well by Thompson. Shrugs him off. Maloney again. This could clinch it. Another fine save from Malkowski. Maloney, really a one-man attack at the moment for Celtic. Here's Telfer. Oh, that was awkward. Gary Colwell stumbling at Corey Studs. Could have turned that into his own net.
Just misread that ball. The flight to that ball. And Telfer just clipped a little ball in there. And I think Colwell just took his eye off the ball at the moment. Probably got Zurawski in his sights, but great play again from Sean Maloney. Great strength, great effort. And the third super save from Malkowski.
Celtic looking for the killer goal. One more would settle it all, I'm sure. That's too long from Keane. Well, Baldy and Caldwell exchanging pleasantries there. Well, Rodstrachan taking nothing for granted. There's Gary Caldwell now. Launching it forward, time the enemy. Not the kind of delivery though is going to cause much trouble surely for the Celtic defence with McManus and Baldy there for these high balls, and the last touch was by the Hibs player Sproul. It's a throw to Celtic.
It's been a good contest. Wilson and Sproul.
Wilson stuck to the task very well.
Yeah, I think his energy levels now are starting to get the better of Sproul. He's getting up and down that part. There's an attacking force, Mark Wilson. And also getting back in cover.
Oh, Maloney wins that from Thompson, who drags him down by the shaft and earns a yellow card for his trouble.
He's had a super game, Sean Maloney. With his deep collecting the ball, has always been a threat, great strength. He's worked hard on making the size of him a little in the height-wise.
Instant apology for Thompson, who's been yellow carded.
Yeah, he's got great strength now. Good balance, which adds to that strength.
Offside against Zurawski. Caught a few times in this match. This good scoring form hasn't been continued as yet. Still time for him to do something though. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Fletcher couldn't control that in the turn. Lennon steps in. Good judgment there by Caldwell. Good pass of the ball from defence normally. That's well read though by McManus. And goes Smith. Sore one there for Michael Stewart. You can feel that from here actually. He was caught by Maloney on the inside of the ankle. Nothing malicious about it, but it will sting a bit.
Yeah, just caught on the follow through there. Sean Maloney just going down to close the ball down there. Just caught the bottom of his studs.
Caldwell then launching the ball into the danger area. Couldn't drink for Baldy, you would think, and that's ambitious, hopeful from Stewart. No threat at all. That's another area. It's just a question mark there for Hibs about Stewart and Thompson. Stewart scored twice. Thompson hasn't scored at all this season. Neither has Stephen Glass. No goals from that area.
For the ability those players have, it is a poor return on the goal scene. Especially the amount of balls they do pick up in and around opposition penalty areas.
Well, that Celtic stand filled up late. A lot of latecomers held up by the traffic and the road conditions, but they've mostly made it, it would appear. And they'll be very pleased to see how Celtic have coped with what was a very stern test, especially early in the match.
First 30 minutes, it's the best we've seen Hibs. The best of Hibs. Plenty of possession, completely dominated the midfield area. Ivan Sproul was absolutely on fire. Celtic did weather the storm. And he conceded one goal in that 30-minute period. Look at the desire that man has.
Not happy, is he? Not happy with positional play of his defenders, I think. Well, it's not anything like taking for granted these points are saved.
So how many sugars would you like in your tea?
McManus playing it forward. Caldwell's pass. Fletcher gives chase. There's Mark Wilson. Pearson thought that was going out. It's going to be an additional 3 minutes. And that's what Hibs have left to save this match. They've done so well with 10 men. It's really been a very, very impressive performance at the start of the match and then late in the match. But in the middle, it was Celtic who dominated. And that's why it looks as though they're going to leave with 3 points.
It's going to take something very special from Hibs to get anything from this game.
Zurawski caught again.
I think the introduction of Dalglish and Fletcher has given the team a little bit more urgency and a little bit more freshness. I think the sending off has had a massive influence.
Well, some very good defensive headers there to get the ball back to Boric from Celtic. Here's Pearson. Maloney. Caldwell steps back off him. Forward comes Pearson on the left-hand side. Makes for the byline for the cross. Well met inside the area there, Gary Smith. Celtic quite content here to let the clock run down. Maloney in no hurry at all with the throw. Won by Whittaker. Stewart to Caldwell. Stewart again. Now Smith. Well enough on the pass. Petrov wins it back. He's caught there by Murphy. Petrov's not a happy person. And the referee's given the free kick all right. Will he take action against David Murphy for this?
Yeah, short pass out there. And just a crossing there of players. I think of just a word in Murphy's ear will suffice.
Possession, the name of the game now for Celtic. 3 minutes of additional time. We've had nearly a minute and a half of that. Perhaps one last attack from Hibs at the most. That's if Celtic allow the ball to come out of this area of the field. Here's Lennon with Petrov. That's good play by Petrov. Now Maloney. Yeah, the offside flag is up against Stilian Petrov. Must have been very close, that.
It would have been a very, very tight one. A super play again. Extra, yeah, clearly offside, yeah. It was good defensive play there from Hibs. He just stepped up as that ball went back to Maloney.
Flick on there by Fletcher. Here's Maloney.
Fans
to the right for the moment.
Yeah, fans' favourite. You know you're having a good game when the home fans keep slaughtering you.
He's kept the ball very well indeed, angling that through for the run made by Pearson. Well, time for one attack perhaps from Hibs. Well, the hands are all over. Fletcher there from McManus. That should have been a free kick, but it wasn't. Whittaker's well forward. This is Dalglish. Fletcher playing this space again for Dalglish. Needs to come into the area quickly. Thompson now to Caldwell, well forward. It's good play from Hibs. Well, that's very good play by Mark Wilson, holding up Dalglish. The Celtic with a free kick, and that should see them through. There should be enough now. No more time, I suspect, but good defending that by Mark Wilson, who has come out of this game with his reputation enhanced despite that torrid opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, the first half.
Hands of Sproul.
Yeah, torrid first half. I think just Hibs overplaying there. Played one pass too much. The ball should have gone back and then straight into the box. That's where they need it to be. And I think we'll find.
West of Scotland conditions now descending upon the capital city. Referee Freeland is the man everyone's looking to now to bring this to a conclusion. And he's done just that now. Celtic have the points. Stephen McManus has the winner. And for Gordon Strachan relief after an opening half hour when Hibs dominated completely. But Stephen McManus scored an excellent goal in the second half from the corner kick, and that's made all the difference. Well, it was tough for Celtic all right, but they produced a real championship performance. This was the opening goal from Derek Riordan in 23 minutes. An outstanding free kick, then a penalty as Maloney was fouled by Whittaker, took the kick himself. But the next one was a poor corner kick flicked on by Zurawski, finished by McManus. and that made it safe. Then Simon Brown was ordered off, a handball outside the area. Then the foul by Whittaker on Maloney, and a wonderful save from Malkowski from the penalty. That gave Hibs a chance. They battled right to the end, took immense credit from the match, but none more so than Sean Maloney for Celtic. The final score, Hibernian 1, Celtic 2.